Good Friday afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great week so far. And in today's weather forecast, we're going to be going over the threats for severe storms the next few days. And we do have an elevated risk for severe storms today. And then after that, we will be going over the threats for flash flooding, which we do have a lot of flood threats to talk about. And then after that, we will be going over what August could look like. And this was issued by the Climate Prediction Center. So let's go ahead and first start off with what's happening today. And like I said, we do have an elevated risk for severe thunderstorms. This is an enhanced level 3 out of 5 threat for severe thunderstorms today across southern Nebraska back into eastern and as well as western Kansas. Not necessarily eastern Kansas, but mainly western Kansas will be in the bullseye for severe storms today. So if you do live in Colby, Kansas, Garden City, back into McCook, make sure to be weather aware today, as we could be seeing severe thunderstorms today. And one of the concerns is damaging winds, which we will talk about in just a second. But if we first go ahead and look at the tornado threat for today, as you can see, all areas less than 2%. So that probably means we won't see a tornado today, but we could maybe still see a brief land spout, which isn't necessarily a tornado. It's more of just a weak area of gusty winds that kind of looks like a tornado. So, we don't really need to worry about tornadoes today. But like I said, we could see a brief land spout somewhere, which aren't life-threatening, by the way, because they have just gusty winds with them, indicating less than 60 miles an hour. So, that's the only thing we're going to be, watching for today for the tornado threat. But like I said, we are mainly concerned about damaging wind gusts, and as you can see, we do have that 30% risk for damaging winds across the same enhanced risk area heading from southern Kansas, at least parts of southern Kansas, all the way up into southern Nebraska, but especially western Kansas, including in that red color that you see, which indicates a 30% chance of damaging winds. And then around that, we got that 15% risk, and then around that, we got that 5% risk. But as you can see, there is also a hatched risk, and not all of the red color is in that hatched risk, and some of the yellow color is too as well. But that hatched risk indicates that we could see some hurricane force wind gusts, which indicates 75 miles per hour or greater. So that means there's a chance that we could see some wind gusts up to 75 miles an hour or greater. So that's one of the main and only things that we are concerned about today, is the damaging wind threat. So definitely make sure you are securing your objects outdoor today, and we could even be seeing some severe thunderstorm warnings in that area as of right now. But again, make sure all your objects are secured before severe weather really starts kicking off today, and that is especially for you guys in this red color and of course the hatched risk. Now, for the hail threat for today, as you can see, we do have a 15% risk for large hail today. So hail, is a little bit concerning, but we aren't really concerned about very large hail because there's no hatched risk. But we do have a 15% risk for large hail, meaning that 1 inch in diameter or greater is possible. So if you guys do live in this yellow color, make sure you are bringing your cars into your garage, as we could see some 1 inch hail or greater today. We're not necessarily talking about very large hail, and that's because we don't have a hatched risk, like I said, which will mainly be for areas north of the enhanced risk. But, you should at least still be watching for some large hail in some storms, as we, could very well see some 1 inch hail or greater. But like I said, 2 inch hail, which is very large hail, isn't really going to be a huge concern today. Now, if we look at tomorrow's threat, we do have a marginal risk across the Carolinas back into southeast Virginia, including the Virginia Beach region. And we also do have a marginal risk over here across northeast New Mexico, heading up there into southern Colorado, but also including parts of the panhandle of Texas and as well as Oklahoma. So tomorrow isn't really going to be very concerning, especially because these marginal risks aren't very huge. Plus, a marginal risk indicates a very low chance of severe weather. So at least be watching for some damaging winds, as that's really the only threat for tomorrow. We could see some wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour, which looks to be the worst case for tomorrow, but we could still, at least be seeing some 50 mile per hour winds too as well. So 50 to 60 mile per hour winds will be the main concern for tomorrow. Anything else, not really a concern, as we don't have a hail or wind or tornado threat. So no need to panic or do anything about tornadoes or large hail tomorrow. Just be aware of some isolated damaging winds upwards of 60 miles per hour at the max. Now, for the flooding risk, okay, we do have a lot of flash flood threats for today, and as you can see, we do have this one area to be watching for, which does include parts of the Carolinas, which aren't really in a big risk for severe storms today. However, we could still be seeing at least some regular thunderstorms capable of producing some very heavy rainfall, which could lead to some localized flooding in some areas today, especially across this area that you see in the yellow color back over here into the Carolinas. But even over here into parts of the plains, we got a very small slight risk across southern Nebraska back into northwest Kansas. So that will be another area to watch for today, and I don't really think that area is going to be as concerning as this area down here, because we're not going to be talking training thunderstorms, but again, we could very well be seeing some severe storms down here, which is why we have the enhanced risk. But we could still be seeing some flash flooding too as well, especially if we do end up seeing some training thunderstorms. So at least something to watch for also if you do live in the enhanced risk across that area for today. But even down here into New Mexico, heading into eastern Arizona, we will need to be watching that area too as well, as we could see a few inches of rainfall, which isn't likely, but you also don't really need that much rainfall to cause flash flooding there. You probably only need about an inch of rain to really cause some flooding, and that's because the soil is as hard as concrete, which makes it really hard for the water to soak in. So that's kind of why that threat for flash flooding is elevated across those areas, is because they could see very little rainfall, which will likely cause some flash flooding issues. Now, for tomorrow, which will be for day 2, as you can see, we still continue to see at least somewhat of a risk for flash flooding across the East Coast, but chances are very low because it's just marginal. But over here, we continue to see that risk for flash flooding continue across New Mexico, but southern Colorado could even start getting on some of it too as well as we do head into tomorrow. So if you do live in that yellow color for tomorrow, continue to watch for flash flooding, as some of those areas in New Mexico are included in today's as well. So again, if you live in New Mexico, at least be watching both today and tomorrow. And then as you can see, that even continues into day 3, which will be after tomorrow on Sunday. So we unfortunately gotta watch both tomorrow and as well as Sunday, which again will be for day 3. So again, we will need to be watching for some flash flooding over here into Minnesota, or New Mexico rather, and into Colorado, and then that flash flood threat still continues to linger across the Carolinas. Now, for the total rainfall, that is anywhere from now pretty much to the very end of June, so pretty much to June 30th, and as you can see, some very heavy rainfall is possible rainfall along the east coast, and not very many areas out here to the west are getting a ton of rainfall. And like I said, you don't need a whole lot of rainfall to cause flash flooding in New Mexico, heading into Arizona, and of course southern Colorado. So even though the flash flood threat is elevated, we could very well be seeing very little rainfall and still end up seeing flash flooding due to hard soil being as hard as concrete, again making it really hard for that rainfall to soak in. And then of course we got a lot of rainfall likely across the Carolinas, as we have several days for flash flooding across these areas too as well. And not all of them are elevated, but at least we do have somewhat of a threat for flash flooding to be watching for. So at least be watching for a lot of heavy rainfall across the Carolinas, as some widespread 4-inch totals cannot be ruled out. Now, for the August outlook, this is what we could see as we head into August. It's not a guarantee, but this is what we could see. And as you can see, we do expect there to be above average temperatures out here in the west. So almost the entirety of the western United States will likely be slightly above to well above average with those temperatures, especially across eastern Idaho, heading into southwest Wyoming, into northern Utah, and of course northwest Colorado will be the main corridor to watch, as they do have the most likely threat of above average temperatures. But even out here to the east, not the highest threat, like I said, compared to this area, but still we could be seeing some well above average temperatures in some areas as we do head into August, and that will mainly be for West Virginia heading into the Carolinas, but even as far west as the Mississippi River could even be seeing some well above average temperatures too as well. So main concern will be widespread above average temperatures across most of the United States. Now, for the precipitation outlook, as you can see, we will likely see above average precipitation across the south and southeast, which isn't surprising, by the way, and that's certainly because we are going to be seeing some very active tropics next month, and that's because we are likely going to start dropping down to a La Nina, meaning that less wind shear, and less wind shear really helps these systems get their act together because there's nothing really to tear them apart. Plus, those water temperatures will likely be much warmer than normal, and of course we already have been seeing record warm water temperatures in the Atlantic Ocean almost all year around already. And we will even be seeing less in the way of Saharan dust too as well. We could still see some dust around, but it's not as active as it is in May, June, and as well as July. So all those together create a very favorable environment for tropical storms, hurricanes, and as well as depressions. So all of those, will likely cause some issues for the south and southeast. So definitely get prepared for well above average precipitation, but especially for hurricanes, which could cause some very high wind gusts, which is what a hurricane is really doing, is causing very high winds. So get ready for some hurricanes across the south and southeast, but also get ready for some drier weather out here to the west, which will likely cause maybe some drought conditions to develop. And that is kind of a bad thing because we really need the rainfall out west, as we have been staying pretty dry lately. But like I said, very little rainfall out here to the west. It's just like boom, you see flooding, because like I said, these areas usually do stay dry, but very dry is a bad thing though, because those areas will likely be in a drought, causing some wildfires. So that's something to watch for as we do head into August. Now, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I really do appreciate some of you guys subscribing, because I just went from 45 to 100 or 250 subscribers. So 140 or 245 to 250 subscribers. So again, I really do appreciate some of you guys subscribing to my YouTube channel, but if you guys will continue to do so, that will be great, as long as you guys will continue to be subscribed to my channel. And you guys who haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so I can keep you guys updated with future weather videos. And of course, like my videos, and you can even comment too as well, which I couldn't really see any comments down below. If you guys have commented, because I remember one of the people who commented and I wasn't able to see their comment. So regardless of that, please comment down below if you have any questions or concerns, and I will probably make it to where I can see them. But make sure to do all that, and I hope you guys do have a great day.